What's up, y'all? It's your boy Richie Skye. We are back with another video. What y'all up to? Where y'all watching from? Let me know in that good chatterization, okay? Let me know in that good chatterization. I'm sorry, JJCA. She says he must be putting on his Monday hair, child. Listen, I wish I had some hair, okay, for this bald head of mine. Let me tell y'all something. One day, if I could get myself a man weave, I definitely would do it. Anyway, y'all let me know where y'all watching from in the good chatterization. Like I said, let me know y'all where y'all watching from in the good chatterization. Oftentimes when I'm setting up the video, guys, on StreamYard, I'm adding in all of my elements like the photos and videos and stuff like that. So it does take me a few minutes to actually get everything uploaded and make sure it's all good, because I want you guys to have, as much visuals as I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? So I see we got all of our people in the house. First things first, y'all know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell button. I'll post that information on the screen as we're continuing to do this video. But I guess what I want to know first off is, did everybody enjoy the episode from last night? Let me know in that good chatterization if you guys enjoyed the episode from last night. Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5, Episode 4, okay? Let me know what you guys thought about it. Did you love it? Did you like it? What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? Personally, for me, I'm going to kind of give it a 6, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Because I really didn't feel like we got that much to really move the storyline forward, but we did get some entertainment. Now, as far as news goes, guys, we're going to be talking about what really leads to the blow up between Dr. Wendy Osefo and Ashley Darby. I know you guys have seen it in the clips for the trailers for this coming season, and we've all kind of wondered, okay, what is going on? Like, what's really up? You know what I'm saying? Because I did not know where the beef came from until just a few moments ago. And I'll actually put a link to the video down in the description below after I get off of the chat. We're also going to touch on, Candiace dragging Gizelle, basically saying that, Gizelle was acting last night when she was when she was confronting Candiace at that good Karen Huger's party. And then we're going to be talking about Karen Huger versus Robyn, because Robyn had some choice words to say about that good Karen Huger's outfit, calling her Pepto-Bismol and all types of things, but Karen has some clapback of her own. Now, we're seeing some, you guys are commenting, you said it, Peggy said it was a 6, Colette said it was dry, Chrissy said it was, I'll give it a 5. I mean, it was a little slow, but yes, Robyn, the entertainment was great. Tristan says that Wendy is coming off a bit too aggressive. Listen, we're going to get into exactly what that was about right now. I want to give a shout out to my boy, DJ Trife. He is a fellow DJ. He was also the MC last night at Karen's event, but he's also done some events for Candiace as well. I do believe that him and Candiace are quite close, but I wanted to give him a shout out because the man is working, and I love all my fellow DJs. So, had to give him that shout out. But let's go ahead and stage dive into what we really got to get into, okay? I want to talk about this whole situation with Wendy and Ashley, okay? Now, we're going to see this play out on the next episode. And to me, honestly, I was like blown away a little bit when I found out what this whole situation was really about. It's actually about motherhood, okay? So next week, the ladies are going to go to Monique Samuel's lake house, okay? Now, I'm assuming this is going to be like the first little semi-cast trip of the season, right? So they're all going to go to the lake house from what I understand, right? And so Ashley ends up bringing baby Dean because she does not want to be away from him at all. But Wendy, who also has a newborn at home, thinks that this is ludicrous, okay? But Robyn and Gizelle are on Ashley's side, and they're telling her, like, yo, Ashley's a first-time mom, so we got to try to understand that she doesn't want to, leave the baby, okay? But for Wendy, she is asserting that she is a new mom as well. And they're both like looking at her like, girl, you're not a new mom because you already got 3 kids. Well, 2 kids, right? So this is your 3rd. So you ain't really new to this game, right? So Wendy is arguing that, well, listen, if I had to leave my baby to come on this trip, she could sacrifice and leave her baby at home too, okay? And she also says that she gave birth to her child 2 months earlier than her due date, so it was scary for her. But she still didn't feel like she needed to bring her baby to the lake house because, you know, the baby is at home with her husband. Now, Ashley, for her part, is like, well, my husband, you know, he owns his own business. And he is, you know, he can't just be sitting around, you know, at home just watching the baby. So she brought her best friend with her to sort of be the nanny while she is at the lake house filming with the rest of the ladies, okay? So they go on from there, and it starts to get real aggressive, okay? And Wendy is like, yo, my husband's a lawyer, but he still made time to watch the kids. So they continue to like, it gets shockingly like lit. Like they are going at it. And so Wendy's like, I know how much I sacrificed and suffered to be able to be here. I pumped around the clock. I was pumping every 2 hours. I put milk in the freezer just so I could spend the weekend with you ladies and make sure I'm present. So I know it can be done. So I don't have sympathy for her saying that she's a new mother. Okay. Now, this goes back to what somebody else was saying in the comment section. Do you guys feel like, you know, Wendy is coming across a little bit too aggressive? You know, because some people, I kind of wondered, like, the other ladies felt like she was being insensitive as well. Kamaya says she's a new mom. Wendy is being insensitive. Wendy is not Ashley. They're 2 different people. That works for one mom might not work for another. Like, question mark. Okay. Bina says, now we see why Karen don't know her every time we see her. And we got tea on that too. I'm gonna put the video for that down in the description below too, because we got a preview on that. Her and Wendy go at it for this whole I don't know her comment that Karen is going to make. Darnell says Wendy is doing too much. Tessa says everybody is not super mom. I'm not feeling Wendy. Kamira says Wendy's trying hard to make her mark. Let's see here. Wendy is being judgmental. But Malibu I says totally agree with Wendy, but Ashley has no idea how to be a mom yet. First time moms who crave for a baby always act like Ashley. Okay. She says, Tish P says she's a smart woman. She should be aware everyone doesn't have the relationship she has where they share the responsibility. Okay. Tamika says Wendy's mother is accessible and clearly helps with the kids. Ebony says, yes, Wendy is too aggressive, and I love how accomplished she is. However, she can kind of be a bit braggy on them 4 degrees of hers. Okay. So another person says this. TJ says Wendy did what she had to do to solidify her spot on the show. Okay. And Tested It Tried says Wendy is a businesswoman. Ashley don't want work and is everything Michael feared her to be as a mother. I get Wendy. She's a go-getter. I mean, listen, it's interesting because you could look at this whole situation from like 2 different perspectives, you know, and get 2 totally different feelings from this. Me personally, not being a mom, I really don't ever feel comfortable speaking on these issues, but it's always interesting to me. I always like to know the perspective of women and actually fathers who feel, you know, who have, you know, sort of opinions about this whole situation, because I think that you guys are the ones who can really, really, really speak to this. And as to whether or not it's fine to bring the baby or whether or not Wendy should really be upset about it anyway. To me, it almost seems like if the rest of the ladies don't necessarily have a problem with it, then, you know, she should be fine. Okay. But, you know, maybe Wendy just feels like, yo, I left my baby at home. You need to leave yours at home too. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and touch on this whole situation from the episode last night. Let's get into, I want to get into Candiace versus Ashley. Let's head on over to Candiace versus Gizelle. That's the thing. So last night we saw this whole game of telephone where in a previous episode, Candiace had a discussion with Wendy. She talked about Gizelle being the Gizelle monster. I didn't really feel like it was that deep of a situation, but Robyn relayed that information back to Gizelle. because Robyn and Wendy had a little, meetup where they kind of, dished the dirt or whatever, right? So here's the thing. I didn't really feel like it was that deep personally, and I'm actually on Candiace's side in this situation. I feel like what Candiace said here really applies to the situation. Candiace says on Twitter, thanks to our friends over at Tea of the Potomac, okay? Follow them on Instagram at Tea of Potomac. Candiace says this, girl, if you don't get from around my porch with this weak fishing for something to be mad about, you have been called much worse and you were not really mad. Stick to your day job, honey. Acting isn't your ministry. Okay. Now, Bina says, oops. Bina made a comment that I really like, but I can't find it now because the comments are pushing through. But Malibu Eye says it wasn't deep at all because of how Robyn related back to Gizelle Monster went on 12. Okay. I really felt like, exactly, Z. I felt like Candiace was joking. It wasn't a read. She didn't drag her. She basically just kind of, playfully said that about her. And I felt like, Gizelle, what she did at that point was that she was trying to make it a moment. But even when they were having that moment, Candiace was like, I don't even think that you believe that I said this with any malice. And so I kind of felt like in that moment, as I was watching it, the way Gizelle was trying to come at her justification for doing so just felt real weak to me. I don't know. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? It felt real weak to me. So here's the gag, though, because Gizelle actually made a post as well on that good Twitter. Now, y'all know for the most part, she had been silent while all the rumors was going around that Candiace has spilled the beans on about this alleged plot to take down Monique by talking about her kids and making up stories and stuff, right? So interestingly enough, Gizelle responded to a commenter, thank you again, Tia Potomac, that says, Gizelle is no monster. She throws fun shade. It's always lighthearted. Well, except when she's bringing out rumors about people, the fireman and all kind of other things that she's been bringing out on the show. But anyway, Gizelle says, thank you for noticing, just fun shade. Then she says, me getting mad at Candiace for calling me a monster was a bad case of telephone, clearly blown out of proportion. Now, this is where I agree. But here's the thing. Yes, I do agree with you, Miss T. Joy. I think Gizelle was still upset about Candiace talking about her house. Here's the other thing. I feel as though Gizelle is probably going to be walking around a little bit on eggshells because at this point in time, in the current day, she knows that Candiace is really on the warpath and was about to spill, and she could spill more tea probably about what Gizelle and all of them may have allegedly been planning. Okay, remember when Candiace let us know about that good plot 2 weeks ago? Y'all remember? Candiace was the one who outed the whole thing. So yeah, Gizelle needs to play nice at this point to Candiace because Candiace could set the whole thing ablaze. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's just what I have to say about that. But we'll have to watch and see as the season plays out. And it almost feels like, and here's the thing, it almost feels like, I don't know, it almost feels like some type of staged way to kind of come at Candiace versus getting at the real issue of friendship between Candiace and Monique, because that's where the real friendship is. So I don't know. Listen, we're going to have to just keep following the story. I want to move right on along because we got to talk about another beef that just kind of popped up on our radar from last night. Okay. Now, y'all know when that good Robyn showed up at Karen's house party last night, and it was indeed a house party, not a housewarming, right? So when everybody showed up and Robyn shows up late again, of course, she is bringing in the pizza. Now, I ain't gonna even lie to y'all, that pizza was looking good. You know what I'm saying? That pizza was looking good. You know what I'm saying? I wanted some pizza. But, Robyn shows up with the pizza in a full circle, quote moment. You know what I'm saying? Talking about how she was doing the callback from that season where they tried to bring the pizza to Karen's house because they didn't believe that she lived in that house, right? So she comes in with the pizza. And then when Karen comes out, with her, with her pink outfit on, doing her formation dance or whatever. You know, we had that moment where Robyn basically said that she looked like Pepto-Bismol, right? So Karen obviously didn't take too kindly to that comment, right? So Karen goes and Karen posts this on that good Instagram, okay? Now let's look at it. So this is a picture on the left of Karen from Karen's house party. As you can see, Robyn in the background, And then we got on the right a picture of Robyn also wearing pink, okay? So Karen Huger writes in the caption, October 2019 versus November 2019. She says, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, #pink, Oscar Wilde. Okay, so she's basically kind of suggesting that Robyn is doing some copycatterization and is wearing the same type of pink that she was just kind of clowning, okay? You know, you guys can let me know what you think about that down in the comment section below. I, for one, am always here for a little bit of shade with regards to that good grand dame, okay? Now, speaking of the rest of the episode, I just kind of want to touch on a couple of other things, and then we'll kind of just look at what you guys have rated the entire episode, right? We get Candiace and Ashley making up last night. Finally, this has happened. Let me tell you something. I was so tired of seeing the two of these women run around the mulberry bush with this apology. You know what I'm saying? I was like, come on. Somebody just give me an I'm sorry so we can move on to the next beef that needs to be handled and finished, right? So I personally was like very happy that Candiace just sat down and said, you know what, I'm sorry, girl. They had to work through some things to get there. And I don't know if the baby should have been there, you know, witnessing all that arguing. But at the end of the day, you know, they finally made it through. Now, a lot of people think that Ashley should have apologized as well. You know, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that Candiace was owed an apology as well? Now, I thought that the reason for that everybody was wanting Candiace to apologize was because of the tweets that she had come out with about Ashley being a roach and stuff like that the day Ashley was giving birth. So I thought that was the gist of it. But a lot of you guys think that Ashley should have apologized as well. So then we should have had 2 apologies happen that day. And it seems as though we only got the one. You know what I'm saying? Victoria also says that they both were guilty. Ajanta says that she probably did, but production may have cut it out. And that could definitely be true. Let me tell y'all something. They are alleging, okay? This is a very interesting side note about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for any of you guys who follow. It's alleged that production did not show, you know, the ladies get the episodes like about a couple of days before it comes out. Well, and then when they do the reunion, they probably get like 3 or 4 episodes because the reunion is usually filmed like weeks early. So they have to get those final episodes beforehand. It is being alleged that production gave Denise Richards unfinished episodes because they didn't want her to know what was being said about her by Brandi Glanville in those episodes to ensure that she would actually come to the reunion. So it is quite possible for Candiace to for production to pull a little okie doke, because literally, honestly, they have the right to do whatever they feel like they need to do to get the footage. Okay, that's just production 101 and contracts 101 as well. Anyway, we also get Karen Huger shading Gizelle about Jamal last night. Now, listen, I thought this was interesting. I thought this was real interesting that Karen Huger was the first person to really mention Jamal's indiscretions and then possibly being the reason why Gizelle is not bringing Jamal around. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Victoria. The reason why Gizelle is not bringing Jamal around because of those indiscretions. And Karen let the hat out the bag last night, okay, and said, girl, we see you, and you can go ahead and bring him around because we all know what's up. You know what I mean? So honestly, I was like, ooh, this is about to get juicy. And why do I feel like for some reason this is going to come up later in the season? Because Karen, I don't know if you guys watched last week's video where we talked about, you know, Karen calling Gizelle out for not being real on the show. I feel as though Karen is going to bring out some more information, or someone else is as well, but probably not before we get this whole Michael Darby explosion, which is also going to come out next week as well. So we'll just have to sit and wait on that one. Okay. The next thing that we got is really no movement on Monique and Candiace. There was some confusion with regards to when the Charisse Monique beef truly kind of started. It was mentioned last night, but I really wasn't sure what was going on with it. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. He says eyeshadow was a mess. The dress wasn't zipped all the way up in the back. I saw that too. And she had on suede boots. Cal laid that hair on Giselle's head. Woo! Y'all a mess. Yeah, we really didn't get any. Thank you for the super chat. We really didn't get any movement on Candiace and Monique. I'm assuming that we may get something next week because, you know, Candiace will be going to Monique's house to stay with her. So maybe something will occur next week that will give us further insight as to what really happens with the fight, because I'm being told that it's not about what we're currently seeing. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. And then the last thing that I want to ask you guys is this. You know, we've had Wendy in the show kind of making comments about Karen and Ray's intimacy life, right? So, no, it was not filmed. So we have, you know, Wendy making some comments about Karen and, you know, whether her and Ray are actually still intimate or not. And I just kind of feel like, you know, it's very interesting to me. I'm kind of, here's the thing. Oh, there's two sides to this that I kind of feel like, right? On the first side is I look at this from the perspective of being a potential cast member on a show, right? So I look at it from this perspective. Wendy has to be opinionated enough to make an impact so that they keep her on the show, right? So she has to have some opinions about someone. Now, granted, Ingrid, correct. It is none of her business, right? It's none of her business. But she is going to have to insert her opinion wherever she possibly can, because it's going to make for a better, it's going to make her look better in terms of, hey, Wendy's on here. She's really bringing it, right? She's got to do something. She can't just sit there and be a wallflower. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to have to shake the table in some way, shape, or form. And next week, she is really shaking the table, okay? She is really shaking the table. Now, I guess what I wanted to know from you guys is, do you guys think that she's coming a little bit too hard for the grand dame? You know what I'm saying? Is that what you guys are feeling? You know what I mean? Gigi John says Wendy needs to stay in her lane. Ayanya says Wendy's a great addition. Wendy is too messy. Why is she concerned about Karen's intimacy with her husband? Absolutely correct. Tiff says, I love Wendy. Ricardo says, yeah, Wendy running out with this one. See, and to me, you know, I actually really like Wendy. Interesting. Amanda says Real Housewives of Atlanta needs Wendy, or maybe a Wendy type, you know, person. I really like Wendy. I think that I'm looking at this from the perspective of someone who wants to make a great TV show. And I do feel like Wendy is bringing it from the perspective of, I need to get in here. I need to make my mark, and I need to figure out, you know, where I can do so appropriately. Now, the cool thing here is, Terry says, I like Wendy and her reads. The cool thing here is that Wendy actually does have a little bit of background with Karen, because they have served on the board. So there is that level of attachment there, which I like. It's not just coming out of the blue from somewhere off in the distance where Wendy was just some person that was just out there doing her thing in the world. No, there's an actual real connection here. So I really think that makes for a much more compelling storyline. Gigi John says Wendy is trying to ensure she has a permanent spot on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and that's what you do. Now Ayanya says Wendy and Karen will be able to iron this out. Not a huge issue. based on what I'm seeing for next week, it looks like that's the case. Felicia says that Wendy can dish some intelligent shade, and I totally agree with you 100% with that. She has it's articulate shade, and I'm actually really, really here for any type of highbrow shade. Okay. Langston Hughes says Wendy is a strange one for me. I didn't like how she repeated what Candiace said. I mean, you know, you got to play the game of telephone on these shows. You know what I'm saying? We got to play the game. Somebody has to play the game of telephone so that the storylines can move. So we'll just have to kind of see. Sweet Cookie says not with the pee popping. So Nene says we can tell you our team Karen. I like Karen. I like Wendy too. I mean, listen, I just think that the Grand Dame is hilarious. But I love Wendy because I feel like Wendy is bringing it. So if you want to call me, you know, biased about that, okay, cool. I'll take that too. Debbie says, so far I like Wendy. Good to see dark-skinned sister let the battle begin. Michael says Wendy has a point, but Ashley is new to motherhood. Yeah, I kind of felt like, you know, I think as a new mom, I feel like you kind of maybe want to go a little bit gentle on Ashley because she's still kind of learning. And I feel like there's such a huge learning curve. And I think that honestly, just from my perspective, being around a group of women, especially women who have children and who have done it before, I feel like they would be able to pour into her as a new mom so that, you know, at some point in the future, she would feel comfortable leaving her child off, you know, leaving her child at home while she goes out and does things. But I think it's going to take sometimes maybe being in an environment with other women who are moms to say, hey, listen, this is how we do it. This is how, you know, it was for us. And this is how we made it through. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of feel like you kind of maybe have to be a little bit more empathetic with somebody who is a new mom. And I just feel like, you know, I don't know. But I also feel like on the other side of it, what makes Housewives such a good show is that you have two strong women with two totally different perspectives. And I love that even if she felt like the other women were not going to agree with her, Wendy does not back down. I'm going to place the link for this video down in the description below so you guys can watch it for yourself. Give me about 5 minutes after the video ends, probably maybe 2 minutes after the video ends, and those links will be down in the description below so that you guys can watch them for yourself. Michael says, but then again, the ladies love to trip and drink. So I mean, for me, like I said before, guys, I felt like this episode was probably, you know, a 6. I would give it a 6, maybe even 5.5, honestly, because I felt like we didn't really get that much. And with the way they were hyping up this party, you know what I'm saying? I felt like we could have gotten a little bit more of it. You know what I mean? But we'll just have to wait and see. Next week is going to be lit as indicated by the previews. Listen, if you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, we're going to be doing reviews. We're going to be doing news, as you guys can see. And sometimes we'll be mixing the two. So as this season continues to progress, expect all of the above on this channel. Listen, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it here with all of us. Thank you for commenting. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for the super chat. Those really mean a lot to me. I appreciate you guys so much. I will see you in the next video.